So if you want to trade the news and you want to find potential trading candidates each and every morning, in this video, I'm going to walk you through my process on how to find them quickly, how to filter them down, and how to take potentially hundreds of stocks and bring that list down to a small and usable amount of candidates. Before we get started, be sure to check out my daily pre-market live stream called Market Mornings every weekday morning at 8:30 a.m. right here on YouTube. I'll cover the pre-market moves, I'll go over the potential trading candidates that I'm watching for that particular day, and analyze your stock picks live and give you an opportunity right before the market opens for me, a professional trader, to give you some insight on what I see on your chart. It's a great trading community. We'd love to have you there as part of it. Be sure to subscribe because you don't want to miss out on it. Now, back to the video. At this point, let me take you into a private training that I did for some of our top coaching level students that we have, where I walked them through this process of what I do. So let me share that video with you now. So as promised, I told you that today we were going to spend some time going over what we do in Market Mornings on our YouTube / Facebook / Twitch / everywhere else that we publish this show, which is a daily show that's 8:30 a.m. It's a half an hour long-ish, a few minutes less, mostly a few minutes more. There's a couple different steps inside of there, right? I find candidates and we go over the candidates, analyze them, look at what we're looking at for that particular day, okay? And then that's one of the first steps, okay, is the analyzation of candidates. So I do all that work in pre-market before we get to the show. So let me kind of walk you through the steps of what we do, why I call out the trade types that I do, tell you the reasons where you might want to take different trades than the ones that I call, as far as the whys and the hows behind it. And we'll go from there. All right. So the first thing is, like any other day, you need to know what's going on. So check out your economic reports. I use Forex Factory. It's a free site. You can use anybody that you want that's out there. It's up to you. Okay. I want to know what reports are going on. I look for red and orange reports for that particular day. Here I've got an orange report for today at 8:30. We saw, and this is after the market's already been open today, we saw the market move today, right, based on that news. Tomorrow we've got a couple of red reports, right, and one orange. So at 8:30 and at 10 o'clock. So all of these are potential market movers. You just need to know what's coming out before you hit enter. I would hate for you to go and place an order on an energy stock at 9:30 in the morning, 10 o'clock, and then you find out at 10:30 is the storage report for oil or gas, and you start getting smacked around because of what you did or did not do, right? Never a fun place to be. So now with that, let's go ahead and take a look at the process that I go through. So when I look for candidates, right? So here I am, I'm on my trade station, right? I've got two different templates that I use for the day, right? I've got my pre-market stuff, my regular, what I call 4-pack. Yes, there's 5 charts. It's still called the 4-pack. Because these 4 are during the market. This one right here is for pre-market only, okay? So what I'm looking for here is what I'm wanting to do here is I wanted to find candidates that have movement to them. News that's come out, okay? That's the first step. What kind of news? Earnings, upgrades and downgrades, a CEO leaving, a shareholder takeover, share takeover, a stock split, any kind of major market moving news, right? Anything. Amazon doing a stock split, major news, right? Or a company missed their earnings by a lot, a little. It's always going to be news, right? How much of a news it is really makes the difference, okay? So I'm going to find stocks that have movement for them. Where do you find them? You can go on CNBC. I keep it on all the time. It's on over my left shoulder right now. Volume is off as we're doing this training here today live. But for obvious reasons, right? I don't want to be hearing what they're saying, and you don't want to be hearing it either. I don't want you hearing it. How about that? While I'm training. But I have CNBC on in the morning. So I'm always looking for the candidates that they offer up there of, oh, this company is down $7. Oh, they go on my list, okay? I've got a sheet that I put together. It's a basic spreadsheet. There's nothing crazy about it. I've got today's date on it. I've got the symbol, move, so I just write U and D for up or down. What the news was, E for earnings, UG for upgrade. If I want to put down the firm that upgraded or downgraded them, if it's a big firm, I'll put them in there, the Morgan Stanleys of the world, UBS, Bank of America, big names. Stock details, in other words, what does the stock have to do for me to take the trade, if anything? And then the options details or the trade setup. What's the trade setup? Okay? So I find my candidates, I load them on my list, right? Now what I do is I put all of those symbols on TradeStation. I have an option chain linked to TradeStation so that when I click on the symbol, I have an option chain open on another window. So if I go ahead and look at NEO right now, which is one of the candidates from today, NEO has the option chain preloads when I load NEO into my chart, okay? Once I've got all my candidates loaded in there, and my goal is to really not find more than 10. Anything over 10 gets way too much to look at, right? And I'm going to get ultra selective when I have that many candidates on my list. So I'm going to go back and find those candidates, and once I do, I go over to Omega Charts, okay? And I have a series of watch lists in there. One of them that's called MMWRR and then a date, right? Market Mornings with Robert Roy, okay? I go in and I edit that for myself, right? And I edit for two reasons. First thing is I'm going to rename it. So it's right now set for the 9th, which is today, of course. If we're changing this and doing it again tomorrow, I'll rename it to the 10th and I'll just click OK, all right? For now, we'll click cancel. Then I'll go in and I will delete all of the symbols that are in there except for the S&P 500. Now I've got them loaded in TradeStation. You can either get very creative with using a CSV type file and drop it in there. But for 10 candidates, I'm just going to type them in, which is what I do all the time, right? So Billy, B-I-L-I is the first one. Helps when you spell it right. B-I-L-I, I believe is the spelling, right? There we go. Billy, NEO, N-I-O, Shopify, S-H-O-P, SIG, S-I-G, Target, T-G-T. Don't worry about them being in alphabetical order. They happen to be right now because I've got them sorted that way on TradeStation. Tesla, T-S-L-A, and Twilio, T-W-L-O. Okay? So I now have 8 candidates in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I have 8 on TradeStation. I have 8 here. And the 8 on TradeStation includes S&P 500, right? So we're going to click Save. I'm going to close this up. I'm going to go and find that watch list, right? Now, I know everything I do as far as watch lists go starts with RR, right? And then it's going to be MMWRR, right? So here it is. So first thing I do then in pre-market is I make sure that whatever lines have to be put on the chart are there. And I want this done in pre-market. I want it done before I start looking at the candidates to analyze them, right? I don't want to make any decisions on it. I just want to draw the lines. Don't look at up, down, in, out, right, wrong. Draw the lines. For me, it's Fibonacci. If you're using trend lines, if you're using Andrew's pitchfork, whatever you use, put your lines on that chart, okay? So I've got all my lines there. I make sure that my fibs are pulled out far enough to the right. So if I start the day off and I haven't looked at Billy in a while and the fibs are back here, I'm going to make sure to pull them out, right? If there's anything obstructing in the way that you don't want, I've got this as an earnings indicator, which is 3 weeks out, right? It just helps me to see, ooh, this is going on now when earnings are coming up, if I know, okay? And I can see the E down here. The earnings are coming out on Billy tomorrow, okay? So I go through and I set all of my symbols up in there, making sure, actually Billy was earnings today. They came out today. Making sure that I've got all of these ready to rock now, okay? So now that I've got them set up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this sheet that I have filled out because I took what I find online, whether I'm going through a website. I've got a proprietary site that I have access to, which is where I get a lot of my candidates from, which is why you want to be in Market Mornings, because some of these things, you may find some of them around. It's not like anything is hidden information. Ooh, don't tell anybody that Amazon is up $8 today. Shh. It's not that kind of symbol, right? None of them are. They're publicly traded companies. It's in the news. It's a matter of, can you find them in one place? It's a little more work, right? So that's why coming to Market Mornings, I give you that 6, 8, 10, sometimes 12, but 6 to 10 normally is what we're looking for, and what we're looking to trade them, how we're looking to trade them. So on Billy, as an example, BILI, they were down today on earnings, okay? So when they were down, and I don't remember where they were when the market opened today, but right now they're down about $3 to 27, okay? So we got underneath this $28 level. Let me kind of bring this in a little bit. Okay, so let's scrunch down. All right, so we got down, right, if we use right now, we're going to be at about 27. So just let me grab a line and snap it roughly at 27. That's about where we are right now. Okay? So we were in a bullish bias, not true bull, but bullish. How do we determine bias? By the moving averages. Pink on top, that's the 8. Green in the middle, that's the 21. Brown on the bottom, that's the 55. That particular order puts me in what's called a true bullish bias. Yes, it truly is bullish. When we have the pink on top, and now instead of it being the 21, the green, and the brown, they're inverted right now, right? They're upside down. So I'm bullish, but I'm not true bull, meaning I could take a trade, I could just take it aggressively. What does that mean? Take less contracts. In Power Option Plays, one of the premier programs that we have at Wealth Builders, we have a system of taking 10 contracts for a regular trade and 4 for an aggressive trade. Now, I have many traders that just take 1 or take 2 contracts. They do 1 and then scale out of a second one at the next level, right? So you decide how many contracts you want to take, what works best for you. So we listed this one down today as next. In other words, I'm not interested in taking this trade. But why? It's bearish news, yes, in what is a truly bullish bias. The news was bearish, but not bearish enough to flip around on that stock. So what am I doing? Yeah, our earnings didn't meet expectations, but we've been strong up to this point. But Rob, what if it continues to drop and you miss it? Then I miss it. Then I miss it, right? Next, I don't look at it as next, okay? It's not next. It's next. Just loud and proud, I ain't doing it. If it worked out anyway, it's okay. I don't have to be right all the time. Actually, I'm hardly ever right. Why ask my wife. She will tell you. She's the one that's right all the time, not me. But seriously, I don't need to be right all the time, and I don't plan on it. I know there are going to be trades that go against me, and I know I'm going to miss trades. I'm okay with that. In the first 6 months, 5 months of this year, we've taken over 200 trades in 5 months. 200! I don't need to be right. And I'm going to tell you right now, we missed 200 trades that we didn't take. Absolutely. Am I upset about it? No. We've got a 5-fold gain this year. I am not upset whatsoever at what's going on, right? And of course, everything we talk is non-funded. Y'all know that, right? It's just as example purposes. All right, so Billy was a next today, right? NEO, N-I-O. Actually, let me go back here and delete that line out of there, right? I don't want that on their chart. NEO, let's see. NEO was earnings, all right? They were down on the day, down in 1946. Again, that bullish bias has driven me to say for NEO, we're going to take a next. We're not going to take this trade. So we're going to pass and we're going to move on to the next candidate, which is Shopify, S-H-O-P. Excuse me there. So Shopify is going to be the last one we're going to go over as an example as to how we found these, okay? And what we're looking to do. So let me bring this in a little bit. This is kind of out there. All right, well, that's pretty good, actually. I'm going to take this list down just to get it really zoomed in on the screen so we get as big as possible. Shopify came out and said the CEO got more voting rights, and it was shareholders that voted to give those rights to him, which basically means his vote counts more than you or I if we own the shares. Is that good or bad? Yes. I'm not making the determination. What's the market tell us? Shopify right now is up $5 on that news, okay? It was down on the news in the pre-market. So when we are looking at a trade up or down, right, we're looking at this to say, all right, what is my setup? If I am sitting in a bearish bias, or in a neutral bias, I can take that bearish. Well, let's start here. If it's in a bearish bias, I really just want to take bearish trades. If we're in a neutral bias, I could take bullish or bearish. If we're in a bullish bias, I could take bullish trades. Well, that restricts what I can do then. But instead of taking, meaning directional trades, it restricts me. Instead of taking directional trades, we call these out as credit spreads, right? And we have other trainings that you guys have seen that are available on credit spreads inside of, Trading You and all of that, okay? But inside of our mastermind, our inner circle, all the major programs we have has the credit spreads inside of it. So what we do is we sell one position and we buy another. So think of a naked put. You're selling a put and you're buying one put below there, one strike below, and that is your insurance policy and it limits your risk in the trade. Why we do the spreads versus the directional, the market maker is jacking up premium when news comes out. They're also widening spreads. Well, now I'm paying too much for the option and it has a bigger spread, which means I'm paying even more than I should for the option. As the market settles down, if the stock does nothing, moves up or down, it doesn't matter, that price starts to collapse, go back to where it belongs. And even if the stock is moving in my direction, I could have bought a call or a put option, and I see that option drop in value. Even if it's moving, if I bought a call, even if its stock is moving up, I could see the option worth less than when I purchased it, which obviously is not what I want to have, right? So what do? We do the credit spread where we're looking at, so on Billy as an example, BILI, okay? There are 50 cent increments on Billy. I don't take 50 cent credit spreads normally. You can if the numbers work. I'm normally looking for the dollar, so I'll skip, right? I will go the 24.25 on the bull put, or I'll go the 29.30 on the bear call. And if I can pick up 10 cents or more on a $1 spread, I'm very excited about it. If I have $5 increments, I get very unexcited about that spread, period, because I'm looking for something that's going to give me some movement to it. And if I've got to take on that kind of risk with $5, I'm not saying no. Excuse me. You just have to know that going in. So we get to Shopify, and now we're at $5. You have to make that call of yay or nay. Am I going to do this one because of that? So that becomes part of your intrinsic rules of this is how I put a candidate on my list. These are the things that have to happen. Earnings are 3 weeks away. Volume is 1 million shares a day. It has to have increments of $2.50 or less. Whatever you come up with, right, to help get that candidate onto your list, period. Okay. I like Shopify as a company. I like what they do. I think they've got a phenomenal model out there. They make huge money with what it is they do. Yes, they're down now from where they were, but a lot of that is COVID, right? Has caused that. They were a COVID running stock, and now they're a COVID giveth back stock at this point because so many people are going to stores again to purchase items, okay? So when I look at those trade setups, I look at credit spreads. That's primarily what we do. Now, there are some caveats to that. I do credit spreads, but when it comes to a bullish moving position that's under $40, I will also consider a naked put over a credit spread. Credit spread gives you more protection. Naked put, you better like the stock and be willing to buy it at that strike price because sooner or later, not if, it's when, sooner or later, it's going to get put to you. And if it does, if you have that happen, you better have the ability to buy it, and you better like the stock at that price, okay? So I will do a naked put instead. But yesterday, as an example, Roku was one that came up on our list. I called it out for a spread. And I showed the spread in the examples of the practice trades, the non-funded trade that we did on it yesterday, okay? Well, what does that mean then? Well, I did the credit spread. We took in, I think it was 20 or 25 cents. I don't have it here. So we took in 20 or 25 cents on that trade yesterday, right? I think we took in 30 cents and we got out of it at 10 cents. So we kept 20 cents on the trade. That was a 25% rate of return on that position. Okay. Phenomenal rate of return for a couple of hours. Right. Well, I also went ahead and did a directional trade on it. Buying a call or buying a put. Why? Because I know the stock. I know its heartbeat. I know how it eats, drinks, sleeps, breathes, thinks. I know everything about that stock. Why? Because we trade it regularly in power option plays. So if that's you and I call Shopify out or I call Amazon out or I call whomever out and you know that stock, I might be doing a credit spread, but I don't know US Steel, which is the ticker symbol X. I don't know US Steel that well. So for me, I'll do the credit spread. For you, you may go, oh, I got this. I know how this operates. I know what it does around earnings. I know how it tends to move around news. Right? And you can take that directional trade. But for me, I'm going to take a spread. For you, if you're not familiar with that company, take the spread. Oh, but Rob, it's small dollar amount. If you took 20 cents in, big deal. If you did one contract, you made $20. No. I took in 20 cents profit. I needed 80 cents to do that trade. I actually needed 70 when I started. I needed 80 cents to do that trade. I'm making it worse than it was. That means 20 divided by 80, you've got a 25% rate of return. You blew away the S&P 500 10 out of 11 years. There's going to be the anomaly year where the S&P goes crazy. But that's not the norm. All right? You blew away the S&P in one trade. Just one trade. Okay? Don't look at the dollar amount. Look at the rate of return. All right? So I hope this was helpful as we walk through and kind of guided you on the steps that I've taken here for these. right? It's not hard. It's not complicated. It's a system. It's a process. You just got to follow the process. All right, there you have it. I hope you found this training helpful. Be sure to join us every weekday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern in Market Mornings, where we find opportunities to put this methodology to use every single trading day. Until next time, make it a profitable day. Stay focused on the quest to becoming a great trader. Keep crushing it, and remember, you're just one trade away. Be sure to check out some of the other trainings that we have right here for you.